Hi, my name is John Dreher. They call me Mr. J here at Castleview. I'm the director of theater, which is a real fancy title. I'm theater teacher and director, acting coach, help with tech, all that kind of stuff here at Castleview. I have a long history in theater and acting, film, TV. I'm originally from Colorado, and Highlands Ranch High School is where I went to high school. And then I, got my BFA in acting and my master's degree in acting and went up to North Carolina for that. And then up to New York City, where I was a working actor for about 10 years. And then decided to come back home, be closer to the family. And this job position opened up, and I thought, wait, I get to just deal with theater all day and talk about arts and acting and direct, and then I saw the space and met the other faculty, met some students, and I went, yeah, this is the spot. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm at Castleview. Castleview Theater Company is a high school theater company located in Castle Rock, Colorado, right behind the outlet malls here at Castleview High School. But it's more than that. I mean, Castleview Theater Company is more of a family. I've been in a lot of places, worked at a lot of theaters, and this has such a great familial feel to it. Everyone supports each other, they love each other, and it's a really nice theater company that we built here. So that's where we're at today. The upcoming show for our theater company here is Kate Hamill's adaptation of Little Women. It's a story that's so prescient. It keeps getting told over and over in different ways, and when I found out we were doing Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in the fall, I knew that was very male heavy, and I thought, we have a lot of talented women, and I wanted a female-led show, and so Little Women came across my mind, and this adaptation was written in 2021, so it's a very new adaptation. That kind of connects the story from the original 1860s to things that are happening today. So that's what's up next. Kate Hamill's Little Women, April 13th through the 15th. I think there are a lot of elements that I've incorporated, or we've incorporated into Little Women, that does set, or might set ours apart from others. Number one, the talented cast that we have is really amazing. I mean, the bonding that these actors are doing, and we're exploring a lot of different acting methods to try and tell this story. Everything from some method elements to Stanislavski and a little bit of Meisner, some Chekhov elements in there as too, Michael Chekhov. And so I'm bringing a professional lens to a high school theater, and so I'm holding the actors to a higher expectation than they might be accustomed to. We're at this point of talking to you, we're what, 2.5 weeks in, and we're already off book for all of Act 1. And that kind of thing allows a more element of play, more element of discovery, and an element of comfortability in telling this story. We can really dive deep and really just using an X-Acto knife to say exactly what we want to show here, what story we really want to tell. And then from a design element, we're going to be doing some cool special effects things that others might not. We're going to, the idea behind the set is that we're kind of looking at a cross section of a house, and having this big, huge house on stage that, is the idea of this imposing, the world imposing on these women in the March family. So that beauty, that element of beauty and big, can also help tell the story in a lot of different ways. Our set and costume design, really might set us apart. Our costume designer, Molly, won the equivalent of state for her Joseph coat and was honored on the main stage at Colorado Thespian Conference. Was chosen out of 5,000 and she was one that was chosen. And so we have someone who knows what they're doing and is excited about period pieces and excited about period costume shows. So she already did all of this research and created these designs that not only are period accurate, but also are symbolic of the different characters. And so, you know, we have, for instance, Meg is pink because the character of Meg wants to be that lady and wants to be that motherly femininity and incorporate that. And so we have those elements that are brought in. So even on the costumes, they're telling that story on a lot of different levels. And the set, you know, again, this big, huge house that we're gonna basically be building in this cross section. To give the idea that we're looking in on the daily life of what these women are going through in the 1860s, and hopefully we can create a very intimate play even in our larger auditorium that we have. That's something that really drew me to this adaptation, is that it feels very intimate. We've had a number of elements that are challenging in this show on a crew level. And so there are a lot of learning experiences on all parts of the crew. Props, for instance, we have real food and fake food. The March family has to eat real food. So not only are we looking at, well, what food would be available at that time versus today, but also taking into consideration actor dietary restrictions, and you don't want to have something that's going to make them cough on stage and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of learning on that element for the props. You know, for the housing, or for the set, excuse me, building a house is, you know, we're making a large set, which is a big learning experience. And because we have the time from now to April, we can allow for little mishaps here and there. The lighting is an interesting challenge because, again, it's a very intimate show, but there are some really theatrical elements to this show. And so how do we bridge both worlds where it makes it feel like the one big show, not 5 little tiny segments of a show? And so a lot of that, you know, because it's all student run, is a little bit of trial and error and allowing for failure. And that's something that I preach in classes, in the rehearsal room, on crews. You know, clearly you want to do things correctly, but, you know, it goes back to the old Thomas Edison thing, right? Like, how many times did he fail before he got the light bulb? And so failure is an okay thing. We don't need to be afraid of failure, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. That, you know, try it. If you make a mistake, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. We're not heart surgeons. I think if there's someone who's wanting to come and see this show, and they're a little on the fence about it because they either think, oh, Little Women, that's a boring old book, or Little Women, I've seen that, I already know it, there's no reason for me to see it. You haven't seen Little Women like this. Now, I say that because, you know, sure, we're doing period costumes and all of that, but what Kate Hamill did with her adaptation here really shines a spotlight on the lives of women and men in the 1860s and the lives of women and men in 2023. And that connection, because it's old enough and new enough at the same time, I mean, that connection really makes one think. Outside of that, it's a lot of fun. We have a big swashbuckling sword fight. You know, we have a parrot, we have some really, not a real parrot, that, you know, of course. But yeah, I'd say that Little Women hasn't been done in this way before. If there's anything else I'd want someone to know about this whole process, this production, is that there's a bit of a buzz going around. And I'm part of that. I am buzzing because there's a genuine level of excitement that's around this show, this play, that hasn't been here in a few years. And that's something that's really exciting to me. It means that we're doing something a little bit new or different, and it's it's really a wonderful, wonderful experience so far. I mean, when we were doing our table work and just sitting around the table, we had people sobbing because it was already that connected, and that's something that's special. You don't get that all the time. So this school, this theater department, I'm very lucky to have stumbled into this year, as won multiple Bobby G Awards, which is the high school equivalent of the Tonys, right? Given out at the Denver Center. And so we have some incredible talent here, and they are really, truly shining in this play.